Hello, it's Mike with Mike's Muck. I got another mucky one for you today. So remember how I told you about gold is where you find it? And so I'm sitting in the middle of Grand Junction, Colorado, and there's never been really any gold found right here in the middle of Grand Junction, but I know where some's at. So I'm going to tell you the story. So this yard used to be the Wagner Caterpillar yard back a long time ago. When I was in the construction business, I came in here one day to pick up a piece of equipment. And then when I came in here, I noticed that there was a haul truck or a lowboy, kind of like that yellow one right there, had a great big old haul truck on it. And so when I got in here, I noticed it had a huge rock in it. And I was like, why would they haul not only a big heavy load like that with a big old heavy rock, they're like overweight, big time. And so I asked him, I said, what's going on? He's like, yeah, they was doing this mine reclamation job up there between Ouray and Silverton, Colorado, and they got the rock stuck in that rock truck. Couldn't get it out, so they tried to drill it. They was going to drill and shoot it, but they was like trying to jerk it and everything, and apparently they broke the truck. They couldn't raise the bed anymore because they broke the hydraulic cylinders or something on it. So they hauled it down here to Wagner Equipment, the cat dealer, and of course they had big old equipment here, and they was able to finally pull it out. But what ended up happening is the dang old rock split in half. So 30 years goes by, right? I ended up renting this place because this is where we make our rock screens and all that stuff. And one day I'm out here walking around and I see this rock. I'm like, what's this big old rock doing over here? And so I looked at it and I was like, dang, that's that rock that was stuck in the haul truck. And so the other day I came out here with my Falcon little metal detector, and I think I found some gold. So what we're going to do today is we're going to chip away at this rock. I'm going to try to pinpoint some gold. We're going to get it out of there, and then I'm going to take it and crush it up, and we'll look at it with the loop and whatnot. And so let's see what happens. And here's that rock right there. The big old rock. The other half of it is down the fence line, way down there in the corner over there. So they pushed them off into the corner of this yard. So if you look, all these lines right here, I'll try to zoom in on this a little bit. This right here is pyrite. And you start looking around, you can tell where I'm going with this, right? And this is the same ore that they were going for gold and silver. And man, I'll tell you what, it's huge old rock. Look at that. Look at all the stuff in here. Get zoomed out. Isn't that cool? Come down here and there's some other pyritic stuff. So I'm going to get the metal detectors out. I'm going to get my gold monster out. And I'm going to get my Falcon out. Let's see what happens. Feels like there's something right in there. Okay, we're gonna try the gold monster on it. I'm just curious. Wave the whole thing over it. Looks like this little area right here is what I want to attack. Okay, now I'm just curious of what this thing says. Well, we know that this thing doesn't pick up pyrite. That's cool. So it works. All right, I still think this is what we need to attack here. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. That is some hard stuff. Okay, I got a little bit off, so now you can see this old rusty stained old rock is actually white quartz. And you can see that pyrite in there. All right, I cheated. I'm cheating. I gotta bring out the excavator to do this. I'm gonna try to chip off this part right about in here. See what we can do. That stuff is hard. Hard, hard, hard. Can't believe how hard it is. Switch up here a little bit. I can't believe how hard that is. You see them sparks coming off of there? That is one hard rock right there. There we got a little bit of chips so they won't fly and I ain't gonna be able to recover those. There was a nice piece. I like that one. I seen where that ended. I don't think I would have got this with a hammer. Here's another piece. Oh yeah. Do you see that big old one chunk off, come off there? That's what we want. That's right where our metal detector was coming off too. So hopefully we can gather this stuff up a little bit. I got a lot of weight on that little tooth right there. I think it's time we could gather some stuff up and see what we got going on here. That was one hard rock. I can see why they had a hard time getting it out of that dump truck. Let's see what kind of damage we did here and everything we can find. I better not brush that off. I want to brush it off of my bucket. Anyways, there's some pyrite there you can see. And but I got this big old rock here. This is the one we're gonna, I think it was going off here, so we're gonna try it again with the metal detectors and see what happens there. And then put that in my bucket. And here's another piece. So I'm just gonna go around gathering up all these little pieces everywhere. Try to brush off some of that in my bucket. There's some neat stuff right there. See what happens. We'll take and go crush it down. So anyways, I forgot to show you one thing on this. This is where they was drilling it. See all them holes? They thought they were going to keep on drilling it and break this thing apart. So those are all the drill holes that those guys were trying to break it and never got it done. Kind of looks like one of them competition drill rocks, or hard rock drillers or hard rock days or whatever that they have in mining towns. That one was actually because they was trying to bust it up and it didn't work, but it's a pretty good fracture going on there. So anyways, that's what I got. We're gonna go see if we can find some gold. Okay, so here's what we gathered up. It's still falling apart. And so what I'm gonna do, since I had to come inside, it was starting to get so dang windy out there. So I brought it inside. We'll crush it up with the little rock crusher here that I made, if you watch that video. And I can sell these on eBay, or if you want to make your own, I have all the pieces and parts that are already cut, and you can just buy them off of eBay that way and make it yourself. So yeah, there's some pyritic stuff. I have a feeling that there's nothing in this. I don't know, but I have to go by what my little instruments say. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take and just look at my loop with my loop here and just see what there might be. Right now, that's just a lot of pyrite. And this pyrite here, not all pyrite, is real silvery looking, metal, metallic silver. Now sometimes it's so goldish looking that people are like, oh, that's gold. It's funny how many, I see people even posting it on the internet, like, oh, I found some gold, and on these gold channels. It's kind of funny. And it's just pyrite. And so you can really tell if gold is, if you think if it's sparkling, it's probably not gold. There's an old saying, gold won't sparkle, it shines. So kind of like shines on your gold ring, maybe, is kind of how you want to look at it, how you can tell the difference a lot of times. But I'll tell you what, I've seen some pretty dang good pyrite out there, and it sure did look like gold. But you know, if you study it long enough, you'll see. So let's go ahead and crush some of this up and see what happens. Get the smaller ones in here first. So this is my first time using this. Feels like I got to get a pan out. Now, I've had one similar to this, so I know kind of what to do. Now, it won't all break up all the time, so you'll need to run a couple of passes on it, like this here. So we got a lot of powder out of it that time. And this is really for prospecting. This isn't for any kind of production. This is prospecting only. So if you find a piece, crush it up. The other thing is when you go to, if you do keep it in the bigger pieces, you'll see that it may stay in your pan. Like when you're panning it, it'll hang out in that heavy, or in the corner of your pan when you're panning. So sometimes I'm not so sure I want to get it all crushed up really fine, because if there is gold in here, sometimes it'll hang on to that quartz, and it's a really cool specimen to have a white quartz with a chunk of gold on there. I'm going to go ahead and crush this one up a little bit more. So I got pan down to the heavies here, and then I was using this pan to catch all my stuff out of that pan. And anyways, found something interesting. I'm going through it and looking at it, and I found this very interesting piece. That is a piece of metal off the tooth of the excavator, I believe. So anyways, I'm going to go through all this stuff. This is, remember that old rust-colored rock? Well, it ain't so rusty. It's all quartz. So I'm going to go through that later. But I go through the heavies here, see what we find. Got my loop out, and it's all getting dark out on me, so I'm having to do it inside here. But I looked at here just prior to this, but there is some very, very fine, the finest pieces in the pan. I'm like 3 or 4 tiny. It's so small I can't show you on the camera there. So anyways, got that. I'll go through that later, but you know, I learned to pan a lot from old George Massey. When I was a little kid, middle of the night, at midnight it seemed like, I'd turn on my TV. We didn't have much TV where I lived. I lived in a rural area. But anyways, that was back in the 70s, and I'd get up middle of the night and watch this guy had a little tiny TV in my room, and his name was George Massey. And he was the old buzzard. He's kind of like the greatest of all time, kind of like number 12, old Tom Brady, right? And he was the guy that was the first to put videos up on TV and get people excited about panning for gold and everything. And I haven't got to go up and meet his 2 sons, old Tom and Perry, up there in Nome, Alaska. And anyways, I learned a lot from those guys too. I learned a lot from a lot of people along the way. So anyways, keep tuned to my channel because we have that treasure hunt on Patreon. So go to Patreon for $5 a month. I'm giving away silver, copper, coins, pay dirt, guess the weight of the pay dirt for $5. That's all it costs. So join Patreon. It's really cool. It's a new up and coming thing, and be watching all my videos. And if you want to buy any of my pay dirt, I try to keep pay dirt from the 4 corner states, and I'm trying to get some out of California, Nevada, Wyoming, and maybe even Montana and Idaho. But you'll see it on eBay as Mike's Muck. So I'm Mike's Muck on Patreon too. So $5, and I'll get you that treasure map, and you can stay at home and look for treasure from Google Earth from my hints. I got one guy that's a member, and he's getting really close, but it's going to keep on going, so don't worry about it. I got lots of stuff, man. They're really cool gold, silver, copper, coins, paper money, some old really cool stuff. And might even be giving away one of my rock crushers or whatever else out there. So keep tuned to Mike's Muck on YouTube. Hit the subscribe and like buttons. That helps me out. So catch you later.